Okay, YouTubers and space detectives, today we are looking at this image from Apollo 11. Now, this was taken back in 1969, 50 years ago, almost to the day, not quite. And we have a really nice quality, high-res image taken from the Apollo 11 craft as it flew around the moon. This is on the near side of the moon, not the far side, where the Chang'e 4 has just landed. And this is in good detail. Now you can see the Earth in the background. This isn't pasted on, okay? This isn't fake. This is real, okay? I'm not even going to get into that argument. If you think the Earth is flat and we've never been out of the Earth's atmosphere, then you really should not be on this channel, okay? So I'll leave it at that. Now the part of the image that I'm concentrating on today is the bottom left corner here. We've got this crater down here. Okay, let's zoom in a bit. And there it is. This is the area. We've got this little crater, well, not small. This crater is probably about a mile across, or at least I would say about a mile or half a mile in diameter. And we've got this strange structure sticking up above it and going into it. There's also some other weird things here. In this area, we've got something here, a very large rectangular structure. Now you can't see these very well at the moment, but I promise you, you will in a minute. And we've got a row of other rectangular structures along this ridge line. And there's also some weird stuff slightly further up here, like what looks like some kind of bridge or something as well, okay? And there's also other rectangular structures in here. Now, these are kind of big block-shaped buildings. And this is the image here. I'll just read what it says here. This is a view from the Apollo 11 spacecraft, and shows the Earth rising above the moon's horizon. The lunar terrain pictured in the area of Smythe's Sea on the near side. Yeah, so it's in the area of Smythe's Sea, which is this kind of dark patch here. So, I do recommend you download this. I've also got it on Flickr as well. The Flickr version of the image is here. Now, this is exactly the same photograph, but it's got the borders still on it and it hasn't been cropped. But it's also much brighter, and you can't really see a lot of these details very well at all in this image because it's got less contrast. Now, this was probably because of the way this was scanned. This was scanned at a different resolution. This is 300 pixels per inch, and the other image from the NASA site is 72 pixels per inch, okay, PPI, but they are the same size image, so they got the same amount of pixels in them. But the better one is this darker one here because we've got better definition, better contours, better shadows, and you can see the shapes much more clearly. So you don't need to enhance this much. So the area I'm going to show you today is down here. And we have that strange thing sticking up there, okay, out of that crater. We've also got these structures here. You can't see them very well until you start adding contrast. Now, first, the crater structure. Here's a raw clip. Now, this doesn't look much when you see it like this because we've gone in quite close and you can't see much definition, but you can see these square things here. And there's a sort of rectangular things coming down into the crater. So let's get the enhanced one. And this is where I've really played with the contrast to bring out these details. And you can actually see that we've got rectangular structures here and what looks like something going down into the crater, and this thing built on or constructed on the side of the crater and comes right up to here. Now, this very bright thing on top may be the top of it, but actually what it could be is the edge of a crater behind this structure. So this very bright thing may not be joined to this. It's hard to say either way. It's difficult to say, but what is interesting is we've got these kind of rectangular parts here kind of joined together, and it's kind of going into this crater here, like a mining structure or something. And we've got other block structures joined to it, okay? Very interesting. So let's go to the next one. I took another clip of the same area, and this is when I spotted those other buildings. Here's the raw clip. Now we've got that crater I just showed you there, which is on the up on the right there, and then we've got this row of buildings down here. You can make them out. This is the raw clip, so they're definitely there. And then that massive rectangular structure with square internal parts to it is there, and you can even see that in the raw image. Once you know it's there, you may need to squint or let your eyes adjust a little bit. You may need to tilt your screen a little bit as well, but it's there. It's definitely there. Let me show you the enhancement of that. Now, I've added a colour filter to this just so I know that it's the finished item. So what I normally do with the finished item is I add a colour filter so I can differentiate it from the other enhancements I've done. And you've got these buildings here. You've got that crater up there. You can see that structure sticking up. These blocks with a very bright part on top, which may be behind. You've got this very odd looking dome thing here, but it's very vague here. I can't really get any detail out of that. But because these have got shadow behind them, you can actually see the shapes of these here. See that? Sticking up. So you've got this upright kind of dark line here. Now that's in both images. That's in the image on Flickr and the other image we're looking at today. So both source images have the same details in. Just one of them slightly darker than the other, basically. These are definitely there. We got this massive structure here, okay? See that? Now, it looks like it's ruined, and a lot of these things are a bit vague, but when you actually play with the contrast, they jump out at you. So there we are, that was really cool. Now we've got this other area here. This is very vague, but we've got that structure sticking out, a double structure in this crater, which is just above that crater I showed you earlier. Let's go to the enhanced clip. We got that large rectangular structure there and a crater with a kind of double structure inside it, which has parts to it as well. So these things are massive. The scale of these things is absolutely enormous. We've got over here, there seems to be another structure there, which is quite dark, and a couple here and there behind it. There's a whole bunch of them here, and this massive one here. Now, obviously, when you zoom in real close, it breaks up, because I've added a lot of contrast to this, and it will actually make the image start to break up. So you've got to be careful how far you go with the contrast, because you've got to be careful you're not actually just enhancing JPEG artifacts and stuff like that. You've got to do it very carefully. Okay, so there was that one. That was interesting, that one sticking out there. What we got here are some more square structures, but they're pretty vague, and I think I've gone a bit too close here. Let's go to the enhanced clip. But you can see something here sticking up. Now, as other researchers have claimed, that some of these structures may be sort of translucent or semi-translucent, and they're made of the sort of glass-like material that is all over the surface of the moon, and some of it's quite reflective. And this is one of the reasons you can't see the stars when you look at moon images, is because the shutter speed on the camera is very, very short, because the surface is very bright. This means that you don't pick up tiny little dots of light in the sky, in space, because the shutter speed is too short to pick them up. This is why you can't see the stars. And in fact, even if you stood on the surface of the moon, it's highly unlikely that you would see any stars, or very, very few, because the glare from the surface would actually make your eyes dilate, and you wouldn't be able to pick them up. Okay, in the same way as a camera would work. So there was that. That wasn't very clear, that one. But when I was looking at that, I spotted something up behind it. Now, this is another clip of what looked like a row of buildings here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly maybe 6 or 7. And in fact, the more I look at it, the more I'm seeing. Now, I'm only concentrating on the larger ones here, because basically, if you look too hard at these things, you start seeing them everywhere. And I'm not sure all of them are actually buildings, of course. But you can actually see it in the raw image there, okay? Let's go to one of the enhancements here, and then there we have it. We've got a row of them. 1, 2, 3, possibly one there, 4, 5 maybe there. There's another one. It's going a bit closer. Very interesting. And there was another interesting detail here, this kind of circular, semicircular kind of shape just there. Do you see that? Very interesting. So I'll put clips of all these in a minute at the end of the video, so you can have a really good look at these and take screenshots if you like. But this was the clearest because this is probably the largest one in the area, and it's really quite astonishing because not only do we have a rectangular structure, but it has kind of square and rectangular parts, internal parts as well, as if these are sort of columns or separate parts to it, you know, internal parts. Very interesting. And here's the clip I'm going to put on the cover. That's just a small clip, that's been brightened right up. And what's interesting is we've got this circular part to it there, just there. There's the roof structure, and it's got this internal square and another square part there and another square part there. But this kind of circular part here, almost like as if it's like a big satellite dish or something on the side of it, is absolutely crazy. So there we are, this is the one that I put on the cover. That's just a clip of that there. It's a clip of this. I just took a clip from there like that, okay? But that's the most interesting part. You can see this long, straight thing, which just then goes up like this. And then there's these details here. Now, you can't see any of that really properly until you add contrast. Like this. Let's go to this one first. Okay. You add contrast, and then you can see this long structure with a kind of bridge-like thing here. And if you look really carefully, you can see these separate structures here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we've got these kind of upright structures coming up here or coming down here like this. And we've got this kind of bridge, and it comes along. It's almost like this is like a transport system, like a tube or something. Very interesting. But there's some interesting structures here, just here, and you can see separate parts to it. So let me show you the final enhancement of that, because I had to play with that. It's really difficult to get this detail to come out because it's much darker in this part of the image. But you can see this long structure and a kind of humpback sort of bridge type thing, and you can just about make out those upright kind of parts here, like pipes or something. I don't know what those are, but it's segmented. We have these segments here, see? Now, I've had to brighten that up quite a lot, and you're getting a lot of distortion in here, but a lot of this stuff looks artificial, and we've got kind of square and rectangular parts, especially here. That's about it really. What I'm going to do is put all these in sequence for you. Let's have a look at that one again, because this is the first thing I spotted. This was crazy. Now I estimate this to be maybe a mile across. So this thing's massive, absolutely massive. And you can see those details quite clearly when you zoom in even. Okay, I've sharpened that up a bit. This was one of the clearer bits because it's so big and sticks up, and it's kind of highlighted because it's darker behind, so you can actually see the shapes of it better. So that was really cool. I mean, this is absolutely packed with stuff, and there is loads and loads more in the area, but I've only really picked out the first and larger things that I've found. But when you start looking carefully, there's some really, I mean, there's a long straight part here, what's going on there. That bridge-like structure is up here. You've got that long diagonal line, and then it goes over the hump, and you can't see it in the raw image. You've got to really brighten it up. There we are. You can see it there, and there's that bridge thing. So it's all there, but you've just got to play with the contrast, as I showed. And incidentally, if you want to learn how to do this, it's really, really simple. I've got a tutorial kind of playlist on my channel. It's called Image Tutorials Revealing Mars and Moon Structures. It's just basically, if you go through these, they all contain lots of information on how I just play with the contrast with these images and how I get some of these structures to show. It's not difficult to do. Anyone can do it. You don't even need Photoshop, just a basic graphics program will do the job. And also, please come along to my new channel. It's called Space Detective 1. I only started this channel very recently, about a month ago, and I'm almost up to 1,000 subscribers, so please come along and check it out. There's loads of crazy stuff on here, and a lot of these things a lot of people haven't seen. A lot of it's Mars stuff, but there's moon stuff as well, and I'm trying to get this up to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm nearly there, so please come along and sub. I'm not asking you to watch anything. Just click the subscribe button if you can. That would be very helpful, and it will help this channel a lot. It's getting difficult to survive on YouTube at the moment since the new algorithm changes, but these algorithms may change over the next month or so and develop slightly. I don't know. Let's hope they do. So links will be below for all these things as usual. Check out the this one here. This is the better one, but it's worth comparing with the one from Flickr, just as an interesting exercise. But if you enhance this, you will have to add a lot more darkness and contrast to see anything of any note. And this is the spot we want to look at down here. But I'm sure there are lots and lots more huge structures on the moon here. I'm only showing ones from this part, okay? Thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe. See you soon.